The continuing legal battle over the FBI raid at former President Trump's Florida home. On Friday, the affidavit used by the FBI to obtain a search warrant was made public. The 38-page document offers the most detailed description of the government records, many of them classified, that were being stored at Trump's Mar-a-Lago property. The second half of the affidavit is almost entirely redacted, honoring the Justice Department's request to maintain the investigation's integrity and to protect the safety of witnesses and law enforcement personnel. Late Friday, Trump's attorneys filed court papers arguing the newly released affidavit offers almost no information about why the search was necessary. Robert Costa has the latest from West Palm Beach, Florida. Bob, good morning.
Good morning, Jeff. The fallout continues today from the release of that redacted affidavit, and it goes across multiple fronts: political, legal, and national security. 19 days after former President Trump's home was searched.
The redacted affidavit reveals that of the 15 boxes of government records Donald Trump brought with him to Mar-a-Lago and ultimately returned to the archives in January, 14 had classified documents. Some including sensitive information derived from government informants, critical to U.S. intelligence gathering.
That is the linchpin of the entire affidavit. We are talking about materials that could kill people, as well as, of course, reveal sources and methods really undermine our national security.
In total, investigators found 184 documents with classification markings, including 67 documents marked as confidential, 92 marked as secret, and 25 top secret. The documents labeled HCS, referring to human confidential sources, stood out to former acting CIA Director Mike Morrell.
The ones that are most concerning to me are the ones that were marked HCS, which is a marking that indicates that information was derived from CIA spies overseas.
The affidavit underscores the alarm about the possible vulnerability of Trump's waterfront property. A Secret Service source tells CBS News that it is a private club with protection but limited background checks. The affidavit goes on to provide a glimpse into the Justice Department's sources and who might have witnessed potential criminal activity at Mar-a-Lago, noting the department spoke to a significant number of civilian witnesses. In order to protect them from intimidation or from being publicly outed, the Florida federal judge and federal prosecutors agreed on the extensive redactions. The FBI agent who wrote the affidavit also said there was probable cause to believe that evidence of obstruction will be found at Trump's property, as well as contraband, fruits of crime, and other items illegally possessed. Trump and his Republican allies remain frustrated with the search and with the Justice Department, his spokesman saying the affidavit was overtly political. Former Trump intelligence official John Ratcliffe spoke to CBS's Catherine Herridge.
The unsealing of this today isn't going to do much to, again, tamp down the chaos, the confusion.
This all comes as former President Trump continues to consider a possible 2024 presidential bid. His allies tell CBS News that this past week has been a weary one for some of them due to how this has all played out, but they say he is still determined to consider that 2024 bid. Jeff?
Bob, the affidavit mentioned obstruction of justice. Can you expand on what that might mean?
The former president and his lawyers have been engaged in a long-running dialogue with lawyers from the National Archives and now Justice Department lawyers about how he handled highly classified information when he left the White House in early of 2021. And this whole process has been complicated because it's been an argument over presidential records. But the Justice Department believes that former President Trump might have committed a crime or his associates in terms of obstructing the collection of records and the storage of records.
Bob, you've done a lot of reporting on Trump's Florida property over the years, and you mentioned a little of this in your piece, but what more can you tell us about its security and any possible vulnerabilities?
Based on our reporting, part of the alarm about Mar-a-Lago, just across the water here in Palm Beach, Florida, is that this is a club. It's a club that's busy. It has a lot of people coming and going, at times foreign nationals, other politicians from around the world, business people. And all of them convene at Mar-a-Lago to meet with former President Trump, to have dinner And while it is protected by the Secret Service, there's a concern that it's not fully protected should someone with ill intentions ever try to get in to that storage facility. That led to these red flags being raised.
All right, Bob, thank you for the report.